G'day and welcome to another Roo rental car review. Today's rental car is a Toyota Camry. I'm here in beautiful Palm Springs and I'm really excited about having the Toyota Camry as a rental. And you're probably asking why? It's just a Camry. But you know what? This is America's best-selling car, and not just this year, but for the last 22 years, end on end, this has been the best-selling car in the country non-stop. And last year alone, they sold 340,000 of these suckers. And I'm excited particularly for this one because this is the 8th generation that came out in 2018. And I haven't had a chance to drive this one yet. I did drive a Camry back in 2013, was very unimpressed with the quality of it and just the blandness. Now this one, Toyota is promising, has a bit more excitement, better build quality, and so I'm hoping to see that it lives up to its reputation. So just going around the car right now, there is definitely more aggressive styling. It is a different platform than the old Camry that went on for 3 generations. What you'll notice is that the window line is very low. It's trying to do the sporty body work here. And that actually pays off in dividends, as you'll see in a moment with the visibility. It has a short trunk lid. Kind of squinty tail lights. Now, some of the Camrys from this generation do have a bit of plastic cladding that runs alongside the bumper here towards the bottom. This one doesn't, and I actually like this better. And I think it looks quite classy in this black metallic. This particular model is the LE trim, which is the second lowest one. Now with the LE, you do get, in addition to the standard features like Toyota safety sense, power windows, power door locks, you do also get split fold rear seat, alloy wheels, and a few other little niceties. The styling is typical Toyota, giant grille, but not as bad as the Avalon. It's not as overbearing, but it is still a very large grille opening. These mirrors are kind of sporty, and there are little vents or little fins alongside for aerodynamics to help with fuel economy. And these 17-inch alloys do look really nice. So moving to the inside of the car, it's an all black interior. There's a little bit of chrome work or pseudo chrome work here that kind of livens up a little bit, but it is very black. The seats are actually nicely shaped. They're very sporty looking, and they do have some nice cloth inserts, but they are kind of aggressive looking, especially for a Camry. They're not just your generic bucket seats. You also do get power driver's seat on the LE trim. Now moving inside to the car, very clear gauges. I'll go ahead and turn the car on for a moment. And you get a really nice little intro here from Toyota. Kind of sporty. Feel like I'm driving a Grand Prix car, not a Camry. But yeah, the gauges are very large, easy to read, nothing tricky at all. And through a steering wheel control, you can adjust through the different menu items as well. So now the steering wheel itself, there's actually quite a plethora of buttons here. It was a little, there was a little bit of a learning curve learning them all just by touch and feel, but I think most Toyota drivers would get used to it. Interior quality is very good. It's nice soft touch plastics. Everything's well constructed. There's really nice stitching along here. I know it's fake, and equally fake is the wood grain trim, but it's all very nicely, elegantly done. Piano black finish there, and once again some chrome, pseudo fake chrome touches. I actually do like the center stack here. It has kind of an 80s almost retro look to it with the font and just these chrome buttons. It's kind of a little different looking. In this age of touchscreens, massive touchscreens, this is a bit refreshing. Now I know you can get a larger touchscreen on the higher trim Camrys, but I think this works really well. What is a little bit odd, and Toyota, if you're listening, I'm so appreciative of knobs, but when you're driving, the volume and 2 knobs are different sizes, and the steering wheel does block them, and they actually are kind of close to the windshield wiper stalk. They're kind of an odd place for 2 of the main controls that you use while driving and adjusting the radio. Equally the same with the ventilation controls, easy to read and decipher for the most part. Going back to the radio though, one thing I have noticed is that it is a little slow to respond. So if I push like audio and just kind of go through some of the menus, there's just a bit of a lag. It's not terrible, but it is a bit of a lag for a second or two. And other systems and other makes definitely are quicker than this. So that was one thing I definitely noticed while driving. You got your USB and power outlet, and actually in the LE you get dual power outlets as USB outlets as well, and that's on all the higher trims too. 2 cup holders, deep pockets in the doors. Same thing kind of continues on with the chrome and stuff, but the plastics are good quality. And for me being 6'4", I've got plenty of room. Headroom is sufficient in the front. And I mentioned the visibility earlier. So the window sill is very low, as is the cowl. And the visibility is great looking out. Visibility, the roof pillars are very, very, very thin. And I have no idea why we're looking through drunk goggles right now. Rear visibility is not bad either. Roof pillar is a bit thick, but not too bad. And there is, of course, a rear camera. And I do love that this still has the traditional foot pedal for the brake. There's no electronic parking brake. And that's kind of nice because I'm not a big fan of electronic parking brakes. But moving on to the back seat. Once again, nicely shaped, kind of sporty. And if I go into the back seat here, keep in mind I am 6'4", so I'm sitting behind where I'd be sitting. My knees easily clear. And what I do like is that there is give to the back of these seats. Some car companies, Hyundai, do just put plastic cladding and there's no give. This at least has a little bit of give. But headroom is a little lacking. That is a low roof with that swooping roof line, so taller people will find their heads brushing against it. And there is an armrest there as well. Moving on to the trunk, which there is a trunk release button right here on the dash. It is a pretty good sized trunk. There is a spare tire and tools underneath, but it's got a nice wide opening, easy to lift over. Trunk lid itself is maybe not too deep because of the short trunk lid, but the seats do fold also 60/40. It's not completely a flat floor. And there is a little bit of a ramp that Toyota's put in here. In fact, a little bit of styrofoam there. And even then, there's still a gap that I can put my hand through. The opening, the pass-through itself is also a little bit on the small side, so you can't get anything that's really tall. This kind of obstructs it. And then moving on to the engine. This does have gas struts, which is very nice. But it's a 2.5 litre engine, dual overhead cam, 4-cylinder, and it does produce 203 horsepower. It is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. On the road, we go about 8 seconds, 8.5 seconds, and a 0 to 60 time, which isn't going to set the roads on fire, but it is actually pretty average for this class. And fuel economy has been excellent. This is rated 39 highway. We actually got 45 on a 200-mile run, which is fantastic for such a big car with a carload of people and corresponding luggage. So there we have it. So that's the Toyota Camry. So I do kind of get the secret as to why these are so popular. They do everything right. They don't really do anything wrong. They don't excel at anything, but it's a safe choice. It's easy to drive. There's no learning curve. And of course you get Toyota's dependability, the reputation of that on top of it. So I completely get it. This model here that we've got is $25,900, which represents a pretty normal value for this size car. So that is the Toyota Camry, America's best-selling car. Thank you for watching the Roo Rental Car Review, and I'll see you next time.